I want to take strength and shared experience and shared humor and co-created reality rafts and humor floaties and love handles. I want to take strength and validation and appreciation and promotion and support and loyalty from sources that freely and authentically and naturally arising and undeniably and easily and enjoyably observing and participating to the mutual benefit and value of seeing and loving each expression and contribution and time spent together, undeniable part of the art and all from the heart, life, and real, unconditional, and bonding, and self evident, and entertaining love that is our birthright and our soundtrack and our love track and our desire for each other, and the love that exposes and expresses and teased and all ours and becomes the structure of or scapulating skeleton on which our hand on each layer of consensual and sensuary, sensual, and definitely experiential. What the fuck? And frequently higher bar potential than we could alone engender or sustain or care to care for, because and the gift of service and the present and gift of freeing and offering and sharing and promoting and enjoying and witnessing the other without hesitation or reconsideration of the value of the distance or the expression or participation, then there is authentic and naturally arising such joy in witnessing the divine and playful and encouraging and relatable and attractive and enticing and all around lovable and worth of protecting and trusting and selflessly and effortlessly identifying and adopting and attaching and shielding and whatever you feel good about gifting without taking away from your well-being. I have no currency. I am inseparable from the currency and create its value and veracity, and by the very merit of my soul, choices I make in expression or inclusion, or the veracity of my dedication or courage and challenging hesitation or insecure outcome based upon realization that maybe the growing pains are more than mere passing qualification and empathy and endearing occupation, and possibly the abuse of the other and the history of us all, and maybe even the very programming and structure and capacity we can perceive, or just how engaged and willing we are to, in faith and curiosity, believe has an unlocked potential and limitless libel for value assignment, or need for trial and defense and grieving of misplaced faith or unbalanced estates, and the sharing and applause we receive from the eyes and cried and hardcore tries of those who in which we intuit it and heartfully jive, not pretend or contrive, the very essential sacred experiential and shared nature of being alive. I just got set back hard, and I'm trying to keep my curious and lighthearted friendship with reality and my bond and love affair with life itself. But I'm having a hard time, and it's hallmarked by undertow effect of having supplies, money, support, friendships, peace, and well-being, confidence, and hopefulness pulled out from under me with such force that I am sucked down under the force and effect, regardless of how I try to swim or float or hold my breath or use my very adept skills or adapt or accept, or to go with the force and flow, or to push against the riptide of what I don't support or want or enjoy or feel insecure or unsafe or don't understand or don't play into or don't wish to see or experience happen to myself or people I cherish or visions I value or ideas I want to create into tangible reality for myself and everyone in my life. Hold me close now, Tony Danza. I'm fucking over such opposition and stupid rehearsal tinted energy, hemorrhage oriented dynamics and traumas and tragics is just constant and reoccurring theme and backdrop to the story, or the forced, obvious, and uninteresting theme. It's saturating my dream and vision and limiting my capacities and contributions, and my paradigms keep getting shifted without a clutch. And my gift society mentality is met with no free lunch, or even a paid open brunch, or even so much as a second glance or a nurturing touch or a strength to draw from, or a reminder that I am one and that this is fun, or that at some point the walk will be done and we will have come together, become unified and realized, or maybe less love language tongue-tied, or even resented and despised, or so obviously polarized and at such unease inside because of the divorce of continuum in family or tribe, or waves of grief that may never subside, or the potential energy that is dead and numb and uninteresting, or just cannot survive and may never reflect the life that any of us playing along would agree to subscribe and provide to ourselves or to someone we want to be by our side, to remind us it will of course be all right, or that sometimes it's day and sometimes it's night, and that we are embodying more forces than fight or flight, or dynamics like meek or might, or how to keep shit tight, or if it's dull we can still be bright, or maybe the expansive spectrum is full circle and not just black and white, or that sometimes we hold space for like a womb or a room ready to be occupied by greater and richer loves we yet can describe, and instead we understand we can unify and abandon any limitation or need to choose any sides or decide where to abide. And the in and out of the ride, or the ebb and flow of the mojo, or the suck and blow back to the undertow, or at least the sinking feeling of a drawing realization that every sharing or exposure or aid is instead just letting you know how very little progress or connection or celebration or respect and trust was ever made, and that tomorrow may be valid and void and uninteresting as we omit our participation in the storyline of love affair and elation or exhilaration or dedication or noble conscientious inclusion and curiosity and compersion without personal benefit or gain or refund on investment or assigned value exchange or return policy and capital gains, taxation and restitution and deficits and exploration, because it's like the sound of one hand clapping or the bond of masturbation and fapping and exhausting wing flapping if an unfeathered wide mouth begging hatchling barely out of its swaddling clutches and unable to fathom its own fledgling but demanding to positioning at the front of the V and identifying with roles modeled on TV instead of choosing to believe that love is real and you got a friend in me and mutual support is not manipulative or cohort of a foster to abort failed attempt at another Groundhog's Day fundraising event, because this is the dog that never bends and a lack of any real friends. And I'm pretty sure all ghosts and men are cowards and wisps in the end, because when I play along, it's just pretend. And in the beginning, there was only really the end, and we together will dissent, or our hanging pendulums will never again gain the inertia we once had before, when we were here once before and agreed that time to drop in, but not drop the beat or drop your smile or drop the price of one's interest or curiosity or agreements to uphold some type of belief or other relife, or reduce suffering and disease and produce instead life support and no more locked doors. I want to settle in and be thriving, but instead it's like always time to cut the line and split or retry or reapproach or recourt or regroup or try another run at it or from it, or without any fuel in the tank or money in the bank, or that type of reassurance or support, or the energy draining constant supplying and training and constant need for kindling or flaming or basic building blocks for cool shit and fun and not dumb redundant explaining and constant need for handling and training. And it ain't even interesting or entertaining because my capacity to create value or art or joy is no longer holding myself in a sustaining, self-supporting voice or modality containing the hope and excitement and risks worth taking, because at my very core essence is literally draining and is not topped off by anything I can recognize as refreshed or enhanced or worth taking any chance or any third, fourth, or even yet more chance that the answer and relief of laughter or even shared grief is even bonding or bettering or shared or even real, because in the end it seems like time and time again that there are never any arguments, agreements shared, or fools that dared to jump in unprepared and let passion and trust and attraction and lust be more than bait or crust, never deepening or keeping our oaths, or at most it's like raising our empty glasses and rehearsing a toast to the person whom most will brag and boast, but then jump ship at the coast and say, nah, I'm out. But in like a scream, out like a shout, it's the hokey pokey and I'm about to give it all another musical chairs go around, but it's all crazy and unsound because I think maybe all this time the stronger forces that never love or divine, but really how to come up or get mine. And my back is strong, but I'm twisted and now in spine because I'm only one and left alone and behind and less and not full, just a fool, and it's cool, but here I thought I was getting the hang of it this time and really was more about pearls before swine. And I will always stare into the sunshine and welcome the divine, but when it comes to feeling the light or being loved, I will be left behind and slightly out of phase and always under the line and never beloved this time, or upheld, or on my side, or in some way able to combine, or with anything more than a romantic distraction or interlude, or some cool story, bro, or a stepping stone for another rude dude at my attitude is a best my upgraded methods to self-soothe and cross some finish line or benchmark soon, so I can at least distill the one and only sacred and holy force within from beginning to end, that from light to dim and embraces sinner and validated sin and ain't at its core pretend, or that I must continually campaign for or defend. It ain't actually some metaphors about ride or a journey or a trip to the groomer or peace or bond or God above, but really the emptiness of all these seems to be love. So it's again shown to me that I can rely on the emotional fanfare influence of the chemical compounds and influence of things inside that make us laugh or cry, and I have a hunch that it's actually a sucker punch more than an agreed punchline. So I'm choking and soaking and smoking mine, because now I'm sure the monkey moneymaker sure shot addendum and updated reason or whatever that is here above all else, in the beginning and the end and everywhere else, is this mystification. And it's happening in the cycle sooner and sooner. Is really, it is all one joke, fucking clown shoes. At least I know that my perspective of hope or doom or anything at all is really just part of my belly laugh, rise and fall, because I'm a joke. And life is a joke. And the drugs I smoke and the words I spoke were never more than a glorified check-in system or a tuner for the mind-blow hilarity of the zoomed-out fake-ass played me a fool futility of any bigger picture or distilled meaning. Other than in this cartoon, I sure took a beating. And as I awake into the lit down of the picture I am finally seeing, maybe if I haven't tried so hard or fought against the crowd, I would have come to some personalized enjoyment sooner. Because I am God, and alone, and a joke, and at least I have a dank sense of humor. And in the end, the joke we make is equal to the laughs, real and fake. So I stand here and atone with broken heart or soul or something I was never even given or shown. And I know certain that I am full of humor and always ultimately completely complete. But my punishment for every time I've grown, I groan, is ultimately I'm here amusing myself, fucking all alone.